welcome back to Rich Green Cocktails. In our classic series, we're going to be moving on to the Manhattan cocktail. Now this one is super simple. It just requires a couple of ingredients and we'll be good to go. Now, when was the first time that you had a Manhattan? I would love to know. Please put it in the comments. I want to teach you how to do the Manhattan that I learned and fell in love with. So to begin, I went ahead and put this glass in the freezer. The benefits of having a cold glass for your cocktail, especially if you're going to be straining the ice off, means that you're going to have a nice cold cocktail all the way to the very last drop. We're just gonna do 1, 2, 3 dashes of our Angostura bitters here. The next thing we're gonna do is we're going to add an ounce of sweet vermouth. If you haven't played around with sweet vermouth, I highly recommend it. Sweet vermouth is an amazing thing to play around with in cocktails. It's used in a Boulevardier or a Negroni. It's used in so many different cocktails, so play around with some that you can explore this weekend, right? Okay, so the last thing that we're going to add before we add our ice is going to be rye whiskey. So I'm gonna do 2 ounces. And the difference between rye whiskey and bourbon is that rye is primarily made of the rye grain, and it also has a little bit of an extra spice component, a little extra kick. The last thing we're going to add to this before we stir it up is going to be ice. And like with all cocktails that we mix with ice, which is all of them, we're doing a couple of different things. We're incorporating the ingredients, we're chilling it, and we're also diluting it, right? And diluting is a very important process so that it's actually refreshing to enjoy. Now, the difference between stirring and shaking cocktails primarily has to do with citrus, and I really want that final result to be very velvety, smooth, and luxurious. So when I'm stirring, I'm making sure that I am keeping a very smooth stir. I'm not agitating the ice too much. So let's go ahead and give this a try. I love to taste my cocktails before I pour it into the glass because I don't want to go back and forth. And especially because this cocktail is being strained off the ice, I think it's going to be really important to make sure that the dilution is where I want it before I pour it into my glass, okay? So we're just gonna go ahead and pour this nice and smooth into our cocktail glass. Gorgeous. I'm gonna take a cherry for this round, and I'm going to just put a cherry right at the bottom of my glass here. Or you can just eat it. But if you do want to use an orange, all you have to do is just slice off a piece of the rind. Try to get as little of the pith as possible. And you can actually express the orange rind over the top and then do a little twist, and you can rest it inside the glass or on the side of the glass as well. So this is how you make a classic Manhattan, my friends. I really hope you enjoyed playing around with this. A couple of different variations is playing around with different sorts of Amaro. So you can actually, instead of using sweet vermouth, you can use things like Cynar or Averna or Montenegro, or just different things to play around with that bitter component and also that sweet component. So I hope that this was really helpful. I hope you really enjoyed this. Please let me know how the recipe turned out for you. And if you want any more suggestions on cocktails, definitely check out the YouTube channel. I'll be coming out with more in this classic series, as well as you can also download my ebook, which I'm including a link in the description here. I'm really hoping that you get a lot out of that, especially as you are becoming your own home mixology master. I implore you to just go and try as many things as possible, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys around. Cheers.